What's up guys, and welcome to my Dragon Made Easy guide. In this guide I'm going to be going over the dragon's mechanics, and I'm going to be teaching you how to counter those mechanics, as well as make it through the waves. So let's get into it. If you're struggling in Dragon, and you're struggling to get through the waves, the most important thing you can do, well for any dungeon if you're struggling to get through the waves, is to bring a champion who can crowd control the enemies. For this I'm going to use Gnarlhorn. The reason I'm choosing Gnarlhorn is because he has an AoE provoke that lands 100% of the time. And because it's not on a physical hit, he cannot weak hit with this skill. So as long as you have enough accuracy, it will land. And that's it. That's all he does. Also, he's got a 27% defense in dungeon aura. So that's really strong too. So he's going to be our crowd control champion. That's his one and only job, to make sure he is the only guy on our team who gets attacked. Next, ideally you want someone to keep your team moving fast. Now normally I would use Haiketun, but I think I'm going to bring in Apothecary. Because Gnarlhorn is weak affinity, he's going to be taking a little bit more damage from the enemies. So a nice spot heal for our Gnarlhorn is going to be good to keeping him topped off. Now the next thing you want is someone who can do an AoE decrease attack. If you have Death Knight, use Death Knight. He's a great option and he's going to bring some additional healing and other utility to the team. However, I'm going to use someone else because I have my Death Knight isn't booked. I know he's a great champion, but I've got other options, so I have not utilized him thoroughly on this account. I'm using Duke the Pierced because not only does he bring decreased attack, he also brings decreased defense. And then for the boss, now this is the important part. The best way to deal damage to the boss and deal damage to the boss fast is with poisons. So we're going to be bringing in Kael. Not only can Kael deal a lot of poison damage, but he also does good damage to the waves. Now I'm bringing in Drexthar. I'm using Drexthar in all my guides because he is a free to attain legendary champion, and he does not need to be booked in order to be effective. What makes Drexthar so powerful is his passive. It has a 55% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns whenever he's attacked, and he gains extra resistance for all the burns out there. But his A1 hits 3 times, and each hit has a 30% chance to place HP burns, and books don't affect the rate at which he places the burns on his A1. He's also got a really powerful accuracy battle, so if your champions are lacking accuracy and their skills are getting resisted, you could use him as your aura lead. His A3 actually hits pretty hard too, and it has a chance for secondary crowd control, but we don't really need the A3, that's just going to give us extra damage. But Drexthar is a great champion. I managed to get him about a week or 2 before I got my Dark Elhain, but I put the pedal to the metal and I grinded out the tag arena early. So if you don't have Drexthar, he's a great champion. You should get him. I've used him, I think, in every single dungeon guide I've done so far. Yeah, no, I've done, this is 4 out of 4. He's been in every dungeon guide. So he's a great champ. You can use him anywhere. So if you haven't got him yet, get to work. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in. And I'll kind of explain the mechanics as they happen. But you'll see Gnarlhorn right there, just provoked all the enemies. Kael and Drexthar are slapping away. Now they each have a 100% crit rate, but neither of them have a substantial amount of crit damage. I think they both have around like 100% crit damage, which is basically just the amulet and then a couple other rolls here and there. Nothing crazy. There's Gnarlhorn provoking again. So you'll notice every time an enemy attacks, they're going to be attacking with their A1. The fact Drexthar has Brimstone is actually irrelevant against the waves because the smite damage from Brimstone only activates when they use an active skill. And because the A1 is not an active skill, we're not getting any additional Brimstone damage to the waves. So we're just keeping them locked down with Provoke, and then Apothecary is keeping the team moving fast with his turn meter boost and speed buff, and if Gnarlhorn tends to take a little bit too much damage, he can heal him right back up. But I didn't mention it, but decreased defense is also really good. If you can find someone who can bring decreased defense, like a Deacon Armstrong, you could use that instead of Apothecary for your speed champion. There's a lot of ways you can mix and match to try to get... Building a dungeon team is like putting a puzzle together. Like, you just got to find the right pieces. And if you're using Gnarlhorn as your dedicated crowd control champion in dungeons, it wouldn't hurt to do an AI setup and turn off his A2 and A3 for the boss. So he's just using his A1. I didn't bother doing it because I was confident that this team would have no troubles. But you see the poisons from Kayle just eating away at the boss's HP. So at the start of the dragon's turn, you see 23,000, 23,000, 69,000, 46,000, 46,000. Those are the damage from the poisons and HP burns. Now, let's slow it down for a second and look at the skills. Inhale fully depletes the target's turn meter, unlocks the secret skill Scorch. This is when he sort of perks his head up and he gets the purple health bar that appears. Okay, and Scorch here attacks all enemies. Places a stun debuff for 1 turn. This skill will be locked and hidden again if the dragon takes enough damage while the skill is unlocked. This is the dragon's inhale phase. Once they go into this phase, a portion of their health bar will turn purple. In order to knock them out of the inhale phase, you need to deal enough damage to fully deplete this purple portion of their health bar. The easiest way to go about this is by applying poisons to the boss. When the boss goes into their inhale phase, any existing poisons and HP burns will deal damage, knocking off a portion of that purple bar as he goes into the phase. And then when he tries to come out of the phase, it will do the same. So if you have enough poisons and HP burns on the boss, you can actually fully deplete the purple portion of the bar without damaging the boss at all with physical attacks. So you get like twofold on the damage, and then also damage from masteries like War Master and Giant Slayer go a long way towards helping you damage through that inhale. And right here you'll see an instance of 30,000 damage pop up on the dragon. That's from Apothecary's Giant Slayer mastery. And then his other attack, he puts poisons and weaken on all your enemies. My Kayle is in lifesteal gear, so he's kind of self-sustaining a little bit, but also Apothecary's pitching in. And then he just has a regular attack that puts, that's his A1, places a decreased attack for 2 turns. So nothing really too significant about that. As long as you have a good poisoner, and Kayle does this job wonderfully, or you can use like a Frozen Banshee, or an HP burn champion who could ignite the burns like Walking Tomb Drang. Just a really, really easy run. I'm going to see if I can find someone other than Walking Tomb Drang to come in. Normally I'd say, oh yeah, free to play, use War Maiden, but I don't have War Maiden built. I never needed to build my War Maiden, but you could use War Maiden here. So let's say pretend this is War Maiden, and if you have Ultimate Death Knight, you can bring Ultimate Death Knight in to be your decreased attack champion. Okay, he has some gear, but his skills are not booked. But we'll see if this works. Just throw him in just to... So we have 2 decreased attack champions. So if your Ultimate Death Knight was booked, his decreased attack would be on a 3-turn cooldown, so it's effectively the same. And my Ultimate Death Knight is not awakened, so he doesn't have Brimstone. So the extra shields and healing from Ultimate Death Knight are going to be pretty nice too. Is it just me, or does he look like Pinocchio when he runs Ultimate Death Knight? He looks like a marionette, like dangling from a string. Now that was not the Scorch. We managed to do enough damage to push through the inhale there. It was pretty close though, but we got a lot more poisons on this time around. Looks like the big poisons are dealing about 46,000 damage, which is slightly more than War Master, it seems. Apothecary's got Giant Slayer, so he's dealing 30,000 damage each time the Giant Slayer goes off. I think we're going to be safe. Yeah, we got another Giant Slayer hit from Apothecary there. Yeah, that purple bar is going to be gone. See all that damage that popped off right before he did the attack? Alright, I think that's going to do it. Took a little bit longer without the Drexstar damage, but we did it easy nonetheless. I'm going to show you Kael's build, because I'm curious to see it myself. So let's start with Apothecary. He's in 6 pieces of speed gear, but he's only got 260 speed. And if you're brand new to the game, that might sound like a lot, but I promise you this is like that's not that hard. Like, we have a single roll on speed on the gloves, a double roll, which is, you know, decent, but he's only got 4-star speed boots, a single roll there, a double roll there, and a bad double roll on a 4-star there. So his gear's not really that insane. He's got a single speed roll on a banner that's not doing anything. He doesn't need accuracy for anything in his kit. I was just going for speed. So yeah, 260 speed. It's a pretty... For a brand new player, that's tough, but like if you're trying to push up to like level 20 dungeons, you should easily be able to get that much speed or more on your speed champion. So that's not crazy. My Gnarhorn is actually built kind of well because I use him as my mischief tank in hard Hydra, and he's got high accuracy because I use him to provoke the Head of Torment as well, alongside Vizix. But he's got 210 speed, 3.3 K defense, and then 40,000 HP. Like, these stats, the HP, the defense, the speed, and between 200 and 240 accuracy will be enough to get you through level 20 dungeons. Now let's look at the Kael. As you can see, he's got 2 pieces of uncommon. He's not even wearing a banner. I didn't realize that. He's got an attack chest. I don't have the starting lifesteal gear on my account anymore. It's either equipped to somebody else or I sold it. But they start you off with an attack lifesteal chest. So I went with an attack chest here, and they start you off with crit rate gloves from lifesteal as well. So pretty nice accuracy rolls and a little bit of speed. But I didn't level this up because I didn't want to go too crazy. But we got speed and crit rate, speed and accuracy with some crit rate, and then speed, the only thing on that piece. And we got speed boots with accuracy substats. So he's got 26,000 HP, basically no defense. He's like a paper plate, and only 2.6k attack, 117 crit. It's like the most important thing is his accuracy. If you don't have at least 200 accuracy on your Kael, he's not going to be landing poisons consistently against the boss. You want between 200 and 240 accuracy. Okay, and then we'll look at masteries real quick. So he is in Helm Smasher. If you're pushing through and trying to progress through content, War Master will give you significant... This will deal about as much damage as the poisons do when this goes off. It also will help you in Clan Boss too. But I've got a full guide on Clan Boss. But you can see he's got the Giant Slayer, which is because he hits 3 times on his primary skill. We're going with Giant Slayer because it can potentially hit all 3 times with good RNG. That's going to give you a ton of damage against the dragon. Duck has War Master, so this is where a lot of the damage is coming from. And I know grinding masteries is a lot of work, but it's worth it. He's just got resistance because I use him in Hydra, but you could easily go War Master here too. Yeah, that's it. He's not really built for damage, but he does have 100% crit rate because he needs it. Yeah, 112 crit damage, that's nothing. Like, none of these champions are built with damage. It's just all from poisons. That's all you need. You just need poisons and HP burns. If you have good champions and you're still struggling to make your way through dungeons, the issue is likely with the way you have them geared. But don't worry, I've got an answer for that. On the top right hand side of your screen, you should see my Fundamentals of Gearing video. Hopefully that'll help steer you in the right direction. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, and until next time, happy raiding.